Good evening, it's 6 o'clock, it's Saturday the 5th of April and welcome to our Saturday evening news programme. And in the news this week, the Stop Portland Waste Incinerator campaign has announced that they have lost the case taken to the High Court appealing against the government's decision that overturned Dorset Council's unanimous refusal of powerful Portland's waste incinerator planning application. Debbie Tullett, who headed up the Stop the Portland Waste Incinerator campaign, says that she has asked her legal team to cost up for an appeal. Debbie says, "We cannot quit before the final hurdle. Our last chance is to take it to the Court of Appeal. I am really very sorry to have to say that it is with much sadness I have to tell you all that the judgment for the statutory review went against us and we lost the case. I am very disappointed that the judge was unable to see that the planned waste incinerator does not comply with our county's waste plan and ruled in favour of the incinerator. We do have one final chance left on the legal challenge side of things, and that is to try to get our case heard at the Court of Appeal, which instead of being heard by only one person, as were the planning inspector, the Secretary of State and the judge in the recent case, the decision is made by 3 judges. As I understand it, we need to register that we intend to appeal within the next few days and have 21 days for our legal team to put the case together for grounds for permission to be heard at the Court of Appeal." Recently also, the RYA, whose national sailing teams are based at Portland, have also come out against the plans. Toilet facilities in Weymouth's Cove Street reopened on Monday following a full refurbishment. The block has been totally refitted and improvements include moving the accessible toilet door so that it is more accessible. New urinals and toilets have been installed which are fed from the main supply, meaning more efficient use of water. Sensor flushes and sensor taps installed along with LED lighting to make the facilities a lot lighter than before, as well as being more energy efficient. And a better ventilation system has also been installed. There is now a charge of 50p to use the new toilets with an electronic card reader installed so that payment can be made using a bank card or smartphone. Anyone using a radar key can continue to use the accessible toilet free of charge. Councillor Matt Bell, who's the chair of the Environment and Services Committee, said, "I'm pleased that the upgraded public toilet block at Cove Street near Hope Square has reopened ahead of the Easter holiday, when more people will be out and about in Weymouth. The entire toilet block has been revamped and the facilities are much improved. The 50p charge to use the facilities has been introduced to assist with the ongoing maintenance and cleaning costs involved in keeping the town's public toilets clean and in good working order for members of the public to use." Now, to find the location of all public toilets, you can visit the Weymouth Town Council website for a list of public toilets in Weymouth. Now, work on an RNLI mural, which will be displayed on the side of a building adjacent to the harbour, has now started. The RNLI recently celebrated its 200th anniversary, and the mural is being commissioned to mark the work of volunteers past and present who have been involved with the RNLI locally. A platform is now in place and the area has been cordoned off, and the wall on the corner of East Street on the harbour side is being prepared. The artist for the project is Peter Sheridan, who's been painting murals for over 15 years. Peter, commented on the commission by the RNLI, said, "They gave me a photograph and asked if I could paint it. I changed it a little, sent it back to them. It went to planning and here we are today." It was the 200 years of the RNLI, so the plan was to try and get it on the wall for that time. There are murals up and down the country where they have lifeboats, so they wanted to do one here as well. I know of the good work they do. So we look forward to seeing Peter's mural when finished, welcoming all the boats into Weymouth Harbour. Now, working families in Dorset can now benefit from extended childcare hours thanks to funding provided by the Department of Education. Local primary schools as well as registered childcare providers are offering new or expanded before and after school childcare hours. This is also known as wraparound childcare. The childcare will include activities such as crafts, sports, games, role play and having fun socialising with friends. To ensure that as many schools in Dorset as possible take up the offer of providing wraparound childcare, families are being encouraged to share their childcare needs with their child's school and ask about the wraparound offer. Schools can deliver services themselves as well as signposting families to nearby local childcare providers if they do not offer wraparound childcare themselves. Families still need to pay for before and after school childcare, and anyone who is eligible is advised to use tax-free childcare, which provides £2 for every £8 you pay. Basically, you don't pay the VAT. I think that's what happens. Those on universal credit for childcare can claim back up to 85% of the cost. The wraparound childcare would typically be available at school from 8 o'clock in the morning and after school until 6 in the evening. So far in Dorset, the programme has funded over 40 schools and childcare providers to meet the needs of parents, carers and children who attend their settings. This is being funded through Dorset Council by the Department of Education, providing set-up costs such as equipment and training. Now, community groups, education settings and volunteer organisations can now apply for funding through their local alliance group. Local alliance groups bring together people who are passionate about improving the lives of children, young people and families. There are 7 alliance groups across the Dorset Council area, each focusing on identifying priorities and developing initiatives that directly benefit their local area. In the last round of funding, 159 projects received support, all aimed at enhancing the well-being of Dorset's children, young people and families. Past initiatives include building a roundhouse at Prince of Wales School in Dorchester, a sailing project aimed at boosting attendance at Dorset Studio School, and a new counselling service being run out of the Wareham Family Hub. Now, local communities, including young people themselves, are encouraged to think creatively about how funding could best support their needs. Individual schools or community groups can apply for up to £5,000. Partnerships, which include 2 or more organisations, such as a school and a charity, working together can apply for up to £20,000. Applicants do not need to be existing members of their local alliance group to apply, and you can find out information about how to apply by going to Google and searching for Dorset Local Alliance Group. That's Dorset Local Alliance Group. Now, officers from Dorset Police are searching for a wanted man from Weymouth and are appealing for information from the public. Terence Bryant, aged 40, is wanted on a prison recall and also in connection with a burglary offence in Weymouth. Bryant is described as 6 feet tall, of medium build, with brown hair and tattoos on his neck, chest, abdomen, arm, wrist and leg. He also has links to the Bournemouth area. Detective Sergeant Richard Barnett of Dorset Police said, "We are continuing to make inquiries to try and locate Terence Bryant, but these have so far proved unsuccessful, and we are urging members of the public with any information regarding his whereabouts to please contact us. While we have no information to indicate Bryant poses a direct risk to the public, we would urge anyone who sees him not to approach him but to call 999 immediately." So if you know any information about Terence Bryant, if you should see him, call 999. If you have information, you can use 101, or you can give the information anonymously, as usual, through the Crime Stoppers charity by calling 0800 555 111. Now, efforts are being made to bring Weymouth Museum back to town in a temporary pop-up form. Fundraising campaign Bring Back Weymouth Museum is underway to restore the museum to Weymouth Town Centre ahead of it permanently returning to Brewers Quay towards the end of 2027. People in the community are being asked to help raise £5,000 to cover rental of premises and other associated costs. The museum has not had a permanent home in the town since 2020, when the Brewers Quay site was vacated to make way for the redevelopment. It is hoped that a new pop-up will repeat the success of the museum's former temporary home in St Thomas Street, which closed in September 2023, with the museum collection going back into storage. As well as providing a presence for the museum, it served as a popular community base that engaged with various groups in the town. Marcia Hedden, who's the chairwoman of the Weymouth Museum Trust, said, "I am delighted that Weymouth Town Council is supporting the campaign, and I'm very grateful for their recent £5,000 contribution to the fund. The Trust has also applied to several other local organisations for help, but there will still be a gap in the funding, and so the Trust is launching a campaign to raise £5,000 from the community." Bring Back Weymouth Museum kicks off this week with an appeal for help from the public. All donations will be very gratefully received, but the museum is also asking for help to reach its target by spreading the word about the campaign by following and liking Weymouth Museum Trust on Facebook. Donations can be made on the museum's website, and you can visit that at www.weymouthmuseum.org.uk, where you'll find a donate button. Now, an amber wildfire alert has been extended for the Dorset and Wiltshire Fire and Rescue Service area. The level of alert that means should a wildfire be experienced, it could spread quickly and easily due to the dry conditions. The risk is greatest on large areas of open land such as heathlands, fields and even cliffsides. There have already been a number of fires this week at Moores Valley Country Park on the Dorset-Hampshire border and on the Dorset-Hampshire border that have destroyed several hectares of woodland. Area manager Ant Bowler said, "We have already had a number of devastating fires this year, including the ongoing issues at Moores Valley and one at Canford Heath last month that destroyed more habitat than all the wildfire incidents we experienced in 2024. While the glorious weather is very welcome, especially with the school holidays looming, it does mean the ground and foliage are dry, leading to greater risk of fire spreading if something happens to cause ignition." Now, top tips for staying safe while out and about from Dorset and Wiltshire Fire and Rescue say avoid having open fires or using barbecues in the countryside. Disposable barbecues and campfires are actually banned in many parts of Dorset. Extinguish smoking materials properly and don't throw cigarette ends on the ground or out of car windows, and take your litter home. If you see a fire in the countryside, report it immediately to the Fire and Rescue Service, dialing 999 of course. Early detection can prevent it from developing into a large wildfire incident. Now, more information on staying safe and enjoying the outside areas whilst avoid starting a wildfire can be found on the Dorset and Wiltshire Fire and Rescue website at www.dwfire.org.uk/heath-fires-and-countryside-safety. If you search for Dorset and Wiltshire Fire and you put countryside safety in on Google, I'm sure you will find that page. Now, families in Dorset will benefit from a grant which aims to strengthen family relationships, improve community wellbeing and help families thrive and feel supported. The Families First for Children Pathfinder, or FFCP for short, grant programme was set up to improve localised support offered to families. So far, 11 voluntary and community sector projects have received grant funding from Dorset Council. Local charities and community groups are working together with the Dorset Voluntary and Community Sector Assembly, that's the VCSA, it's all acronyms, isn't it, to make these projects happen and reach out to families across Dorset. Thanks to the funding, Home Start Wessex has started new family support groups in Weymouth and Wimborne for expectant mums-to-be and for new parents. In the coming months, they plan to open up additional 3 groups based in the family hub settings in Bridport, Dorchester and Swanage. Belinda Hewitt, who's head of operations from the Home Start Wessex, said, "We are a dedicated team of family support staff and specially trained volunteers who provide non-judgmental personal interventions that aim to improve mental health, boost confidence and encourage parents to engage with local family hubs and other community services. We focused on the first 1001 days of a child's life." I guess that's about 3 years, isn't it? Or just under 3 years. "This is an important time for growth and development. So far, we have helped 30 families with our approach of personalised support. Dorset Mind and Dorset PIP have also started new programmes called Mums Matter. This project is being introduced to help new mothers with their mental health and is based on the successful National Mind Support Model, which has been delivered across the UK. To keep providing support for families, Home Start Wessex is also keen to keep recruiting dedicated volunteers. If you can spare just 2 or 3 hours a week, your help could make a life-changing difference. To learn more about how you can get involved and support families in need, please visit their website at www.homestartwessex.org.uk. Now, Dorset Council have announced this week that Dr. Catherine Howe has been unanimously recommended by the Cross-Party Staffing Committee as Dorset Council's new Chief Executive. This appointment is subject to final approval by the full Council on the 10th of April. Catherine will take over from Sam Crowe, who is an interim chief executive following the departure earlier this year of former chief executive Matt Prosser, who left to join Wellington City Council in New Zealand. Catherine is a highly experienced local government leader with extensive expertise in managing complex organisational change, driving digital transformation and promoting community-led initiatives. She is currently the Chief Executive of Adder and Worthing Councils, where she has successfully steered significant financial restructuring and ambitious climate and organisational design programmes. Catherine previously held senior roles at Cancer Research UK and Capita plc, leading large multidisciplinary teams in innovative technology and organisational change projects. Catherine's starting date at Dorset Council is currently to be agreed. And I think finally in tonight's headlines, Sandworld in Weymouth opens again this weekend, and this year is celebrating 100 years of sound sculpture history in Weymouth. Started by Fred Darrington in the 1920s and carried on by him for 70 years. Also, another sound sculptor, Jack Hayward, also working for many years in Weymouth, and now handed down to Fred's grandson, Mark Anderson, and his friend David Hicks, who first opened Sandworld as a visitor venue in 2011. Sandworld will now be open for the summer season, showcasing sand sculpture works from some of the world's finest sand artists. Mark will, of course, also be working as usual on the beach in his exhibition pod just off of the Esplanade. This year you'll be able to see prehistoric creatures, Egyptian princes, children's characters and a range of other inspiring artwork. So congratulations on them for 100 years of sand sculptures in Weymouth. Very popular with the locals and visitors alike, and hopefully you will pay them a visit this summer. And that's the end of the headlines in tonight's news programme. It's now time in this week's programme to head over to Andrew Wright for this week's film review and preview.
Welcome to Wyke Regis TV film review and preview. I'm Andrew Wright. This week, Kraven the Hunter was released on home video. The film is based on the Marvel Comics character of the same name and stars Aaron Taylor Johnson as Sergei Kravenov, aka Kraven the Hunter, as the film explores his relationship with his father and his path to being the greatest hunter. So he's most commonly known in the comics as a Spider-Man villain. The film also stars Ariana DeBose and Russell Crowe. So this was my first time watching the film, and I really wanted to like it because I liked Madam Web, and even though Madam Web was a critical and commercial failure, I liked Madam Web, so I really wanted to, like this one, but it was actually really quite disappointing. The script was boring, so I was just completely bored with the film. The CGI was terrible, the acting was atrocious, and worst of all, it's more of a quirky crime film than a Marvel Comics film. It's like a gangster film where people have superpowers instead. And it's all marshalled together by a director who doesn't seem to know what they're doing. So I gave the film 1.5 stars out of 5. This weekend, a Minecraft movie is released in cinemas based on the popular video game Minecraft. The film stars Jason Momoa, Jack Black, and Danielle Brooks. The film revolves around 4 misfits you get pulled through a portal into a cubic world, so the Minecraft overworld, that thrives on imagination, leaving them no choice but to master the world, while also embarking on a quest with an expert crafter named Steve. So far the film has received mixed reviews from critics, but every new trailer that's been released for the film just makes the film look like an elaborate, expensive April Fool's joke. Like, the first time I saw the trailer, I was like, this can't be real. It's like a bad acid trip. So I'm honestly not expecting the film to be any good. A Minecraft movie is in cinemas now. That's all I have for this week, but be sure to check back next week where I'll be talking about Nosferatu, the recent Robert Eggers remake that's coming out on home video next week. And in cinemas next weekend is the Rami Malek thriller The Amateur. Now back to Gary in the studio.
Thank you very much, Andrew. It's time in the programme tonight now to go to the Met Office for the Saturday evening weather forecast. And this week we are joined by Greg Dewhurst.
Hello there, welcome to your latest Met Office forecast. For much of the UK, Saturday was bathed in sunshine, but it was quite breezy, particularly across England and Wales, and it was quite cloudy across northeast Scotland, but the cloud is starting to move away. High pressure dominates through the rest of the weekend into the beginning of next week as well, so it stays dry and settled. We can see the low cloud across northeast England, parts of Scotland, just moving a little further inland as we move through this evening and into the early hours. But elsewhere it's dry with clear skies and just a few mist and fog patches forming, and temperatures dipping away, towns and cities falling into around mid-single figures. But in the countryside we may see a touch of frost, particularly across northern England into Scotland. Here temperatures as low as around -2 or -3 Celsius. But for most you can see temperatures holding up above freezing. So it's a sunny start to Sunday morning, plenty of blue skies, only low clouds starting to lift and clear, and the low cloud across northeast England into Scotland also pushing northwards into Orkney and Shetland. So even here it will remain quite cloudy, but there will be some brighter breaks trying to develop as we move through into the afternoon. Otherwise, plenty of sunshine across the UK again. Sunshine a little hazy at times across eastern areas. The wind's a little lighter as well, but still coming in from the east, so anywhere exposed to that breeze along North Sea coast, it will be quite chilly, temperatures around 10 or 11 Celsius. But in the sunshine further west, the mid-teens again, 17, 18 Celsius towards the southwest, so above average for the time of year. And UV levels moderate across the whole of the UK in that sunshine 3 to 5 for many of us. So as we head into the evening time on Sunday, little change of our weather, plenty of sunshine ahead of dusk, and then overnight temperatures once again start to fall away, winds fall light, we might see some shallow mist and fog patches forming for one or two of us, and a patchy frost forming. You can see the blues on the map, particularly across northern England into Wales there. Temperatures dropping below freezing in the countryside, but again temperatures in the towns and cities holding up just above freezing. A little low cloud across the far north of Scotland to start Monday morning. Orkney and Shetland largely seeing that cloud. Otherwise it's a sunny start to the day, a fresh start, but then through the day again high pressure dominating the weather pattern, so lots of blue skies to come, winds generally light and feeling warm in that sunshine. Temperatures once again towards the mid-teens, particularly in the west. Down the eastern coast we still again temperatures here a little lower, around 12 or 13 Celsius, but perhaps higher than the weekend, and feeling warm in that sunshine. With all the sunshine around and light winds, we'll see pollen levels reaching high to very high across parts of England and Wales, high to moderate elsewhere, and it is tree pollen dominating at this time of year. High pressure is also dominating the weather and continues to as we move through the week. Tuesday to Thursday there you can see plenty of dry weather, lots of sunshine to come, and temperatures once again staying above average, 16 to 18 Celsius. Just always the east a little bit chillier. If you'd like more information on the weather where you are for the next few days, you can follow us on our social media channels. See you again soon.
Thank you very much, Greg. And looking at the weather down here on the south coast in Weymouth the coming week, look at that. Sunshine all week. It's school holiday time and they've got some good weather, so that's to be welcomed. Quite unusual, but there we go. Let's hope that it stays like that through to Easter as well. Now, moving to our What's On this week, 9th of April to 12th of April, Wow present Charlie and the Chocolate Factory at the Weymouth Pavilion. Also at the Weymouth Pavilion, the film Mufasa the Lion King on the 13th of April. 14th of April, the Easter pantomime Wizard of Oz. 15th of April, film Roald Dahl's Matilda the Musical. 18th of April, Absolute Bowie tribute band. 19th of April, the Counterfeit Stones tribute band. Just a few things happening at Weymouth Pavilion. To find out more, pop along to their website, weymouthpavilion.com, where they've got all the details of all the films and all the shows that they have coming up at the current time and in the weeks ahead. Turning now to the Knowth Fort, they have got their Easter egg hunt and their Easter Wonderland started today. So Easter Wonderland includes the Easter egg hunt, Wonderland croquet, Ravens riddle competition, Easter bonnet dress up, Spot the White Rabbit trail, and the Hatter's Tea Party games in the family room, and much more. Then the 3rd of May to the 11th of May, VE Day commemorations at the Knowth Fort. 17th of May, the Cold War bunkers open again, and 24th of May to the 1st of June, Castles and Dragons at the Knowth Fort. More information on knowthfort.org.uk. Last in the season we've got to tell you about from Arts Reach is the 11th of May, the Soteria Tours, where music is home at Cern Abbas Village Hall. That's the 11th of May. More tickets and information on artsreach.co.uk. A couple of talks coming up. A talk on the Tolpuddle Martyrs by Professor Philip Martin on Thursday the 24th of April at 7:30pm at the Dorford Centre, Bridport Road. The talk is focused on the Tolpuddle Old Chapel, which is a Grade 2 listed Wesleyan Methodist church, which was built by some of the men who became or went on to become the Tolpuddle Martyrs. The talk is free, but there's a voluntary donation of £5 would be appreciated if you can afford that. Also, a talk on nursing during the First World War will take place on April the 24th, the same day, at 2:30pm in the afternoon at St Oldham's Church Centre, Spa Road, Weymouth. It's organised by the National Trust South Dorset branch. The cost for that is £5 or £4 for members. The fee includes refreshments and you don't need to book in advance. On the 25th of April, local bands are coming together at the Centenary Club at Jubilee Sidings at 6:45pm. It includes Violin Shop, Replay, The Cats, Nick Capaldi and friends. Tickets are £10 and it's all in aid of local charities, and you can phone 01305 859 310 for tickets to that. Church services in the area tomorrow. 8am communion at All Saints Church. The family-friendly monthly informal worship Cafe Church, 9:30 at All Saints Church, and a communion 11 o'clock at St Edmund's Church, Lanehouse. Other programmes from us this weekend are quiz tonight at 7:30. All are welcome. It's free. It's family-friendly, and anybody who'd like to come along will be made most welcome. And our monthly gardening programme, A Year Gardening with Clive Gray. The April edition is out, and that will broadcast tomorrow, Sunday, at 4pm. There we go. That brings us to the end of another programme. I do hope that you have a lovely weekend. The weather's good. Nice to be outside, pottering in the garden, going for a walk, or just sit outside with a cup of tea or a nice chilled glass of wine. Whatever is your like this weekend. Hope you have a good week ahead too. If you're still at work or if you're off with family for the school holidays, I hope it's a good week for you, and I look forward to being back with you next Saturday at 6 o'clock. Good night.